First contact incident. The vast emptiness of space surrounded the HMS Defiance as it drifted silently at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. The sleek obsidian hull seemed to drink in starlight rather than reflect it, making the vessel nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Commander Aria Katri stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the tactical display as the ship maintained its stealth position. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but carrying the undeniable weight of authority. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen, her XO, glanced up from his console. "All systems nominal, Commander. Quantum shields at full capacity, matter-antimatter propulsion systems in standby mode. The new graviton phase arrays are calibrated and ready." Katri nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. The Defiance represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a warship decades beyond what Earth should have been capable of producing. The vessel incorporated technologies that most of humanity's scientists had only theorized about: true artificial gravity generation, inertial dampeners that could withstand 300 G acceleration, quantum-entangled communications that worked instantaneously across any distance, and weapons systems that manipulated the fundamental forces of the universe. Dr. Okafor, Chatri called out to the ship's chief scientist, a tall Nigerian woman hunched over her specialized console. "Any updates on those anomalous readings?" Dr. Adana Okafor straightened, her expression troubled. "Confirmed, Commander. I'm detecting tachyon emissions consistent with multiple FTL exits approximately 30 AU from our position. The signature doesn't match any known human vessels." A hushed silence fell over the bridge. This deep reconnaissance mission was humanity's first venture into this particular star system. They weren't expecting to encounter anyone else. "First contact protocol, people," Chatri announced, her voice steady. "Let's not jump to conclusions." The communications officer, Lieutenant Sophia Reyes, suddenly jerked upright in her seat. "Commander, I'm picking up a distress signal. It's not using any known human protocol, but the universal mathematical sequence suggests intelligent origin." "Can you triangulate the source?" Katri asked. Reyes nodded, fingers flying across her holographic interface. "Yes, ma'am. It's coming from the fourth planet of this system, approximately 2.3 AU from our current position." Katri made a quick decision. "Helm, set course for the fourth planet, 1/4 light speed. Let's maintain stealth protocols until we know what we're dealing with." The Defiance moved with impossible grace for a vessel of its size, accelerating to 1/4 light speed within seconds, its revolutionary propulsion system leaving no visible trail or energy signature. The inertial dampeners ensured that not a single crew member felt even the slightest hint of the massive acceleration forces. As they approached the fourth planet, a lush blue-green world similar to Earth, the tactical display updated to show a horrifying sight. A fleet of massive, angular vessels surrounded the planet, their designs reminiscent of predatory insects. Periodic energy discharges erupted from the ships, striking the planet's surface and leaving scorch marks visible even from orbit. "Scan those vessels," Chatri ordered, her jaw tight, "and analyze the planet's surface for life forms and technology level." Minutes later, Dr. Okafor's voice cut through the tense silence on the bridge. "Commander, the planet is inhabited by a pre-FTL civilization, approximately equivalent to Earth's early 21st century. Population appears to be humanoid, but definitely not human. As for those ships," she paused, her expression grim, "they're using antimatter weaponry against civilian population centers. I'm detecting mass casualties." Lieutenant Commander Chen reviewed the sensor data. "The attacking ships belong to a species our databases identify as the Kralvox, an expansionist empire known for enslaving less advanced species and stripping their worlds of resources." Katri's hands tightened on the railings of her command platform. The Defiance had been built for exploration and defense, not to intervene in alien conflicts. First contact protocol was clear: observe but do not interfere unless human interests were directly threatened. But as she watched another antimatter blast devastate what appeared to be a major population center, killing thousands in an instant, Katri felt something shift inside her. The Defiance wasn't just a warship. It was a symbol of humanity's promise to be better than their violent past, to stand for something more than mere survival. "Open a channel to those vessels," she ordered. "Commander," Chen cautioned, "first contact protocols." "I know the protocols, XO," Chatri interrupted, her voice steel. "But there are moments when rules must bend before principles. We're making the new protocol today." Ray's established a channel, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Channel open, Commander." Katri stood tall, her shoulders squared. "This is Commander Area Katri of the Earth vessel HMS Defiance. You are engaged in unprovoked hostilities against a civilian population. Cease your attacks immediately and withdraw from this system, or we will be forced to take action." The response came quickly, a harsh, clicking language translated by the ship's advanced AI. "Insignificant vessel, this conquest is sanctioned by the Kralvox Imperium. Depart immediately or be destroyed with the rest of this worthless world. You face the might of Warlord Grekthar, conqueror of 1,000 worlds." The main view screen shifted to show their adversary, a being with a chitinous exoskeleton, multiple compound eyes, and mandibles that clicked menacingly. Behind him, officers with similar features scurried about on a command deck that resembled a hive. "Scans complete, Commander," Chen reported quietly. "They have us outgunned 30-1. Their flagship alone carries enough firepower to destroy a small moon." Katri nodded, unsurprised. "And their technological level?" "Advanced, but conventional," Dr. Okafor replied. "They rely on brute force rather than innovation. Their largest advantage is simply numerical superiority." A slight smile played at the corners of Katri's lips. "In that case, let's show them why quality sometimes trumps quantity." Battle stations. Throughout the Defiance, klaxons sounded as crew members rushed to their positions. The ship's systems transitioned smoothly from exploration to combat mode, previously hidden weapon ports revealing themselves along the sleek hull. "Target their lead vessel's propulsion systems only," Chatri ordered. "Graviton lance, 20% power. Let's give them a warning shot they won't forget." The weapons officer, Lieutenant Raj Patel, input the commands with practiced efficiency. "Graviton lance charged and ready, Commander. Target locked. Fire." There was no visible beam, no dramatic light show, just a subtle distortion in space-time as the Defiance's most advanced weapon discharged. The effect on the Kralvox flagship, however, was immediate and devastating. The massive vessel suddenly lurched sideways as if struck by an invisible fist, its rear section crumpling inward as localized gravity increased 1,000-fold within a precisely calculated area. "Direct hit," Paddle reported, satisfaction evident in his voice. "Their main propulsion system is completely offline. They're dead in space." The communication channel burst to life again. Warlord Grekthar's voice, now lacking its previous arrogance. "What manner of weapons are these? No species possesses such technology." "Humanity does," Chatri replied simply. "This is your final warning. Withdraw your forces immediately, or the next demonstration won't be so gentle." The Kralvox fleet was suddenly in motion, dozens of warships reorienting to face the lone human vessel. "You dare challenge the might of the Kralvox Imperium. All ships, obliterate this human vessel." As the alien fleet opened fire, unleashing a barrage that would have vaporized a small planet, Commander Katri remained perfectly calm. "Quantum shields to full power. Prepare for Phase 2. The storm of energy weapons, kinetic projectiles, and antimatter torpedoes converged on the Defiance, only to dissipate harmlessly against an invisible barrier just meters from the ship's hull. The quantum shield technology, based on principles that manipulated probability itself, didn't just block the incoming attacks, it rendered them statistically unlikely to exist at all. "Shields holding at 97%, reported Chen. his voice tinged with awe despite having witnessed this technology in training exercises. "They literally threw everything they had at us. And now it's our turn," Chaftry said, her expression hardening. "Target all enemy weapon systems. Precision strikes only. I want those ships disabled, not destroyed." As the Defiance prepared to demonstrate the full extent of humanity's technological prowess, a transmission from the planet's surface cut through the chaos. "Unknown vessel," came a melodious, clearly non-human voice. "This is Prime Minister Ilarven of Neoterra. We thank you for your intervention. But please, no more violence if it can be avoided. Our people have seen enough destruction today." Ketri paused, studying the new figure on the view screen. A tall, slender being with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes that spoke of wisdom and compassion despite the alien features. "Prime Minister," she acknowledged with a respectful nod, "we share your desire to minimize bloodshed. But these aggressors have made their intentions clear." "Perhaps," Ilarven replied, "but our philosophies teach that even the most hardened enemy can choose a different path when shown one exists. Would you allow me to address the Kralvox before further action is taken?" It was an unexpected request, but something in the alien leader's demeanor resonated with Katri's own hopes for peaceful resolution. "Very well, Prime Minister. We'll establish a three-way communication." As the first part of this unprecedented first contact situation drew to a close, the HNS Defiance hung in space, a silent guardian between a peaceful civilization and those who would conquer them. Commander Katri knew that the next few moments would define humanity's first steps onto the galactic stage, not just through the technological marvel that was the Defiance, but through the moral choices they made with that power. The impossible victory. The bridge of the HMS Defiance fell silent as Prime Minister Ilarven's holographic image addressed Warlord Grekthar. The Neo-Terran leader's voice was calm yet carried an unmistakable strength. "Warlord of the Kralvox, you came to our world believing us defenseless. Now you face a power beyond your understanding. Is conquest worth such risk? We offer instead an exchange. Knowledge and rare minerals from our world, freely given if you depart in peace." Grekthar's mandibles clicked furiously. "Weakness. You offer tribute only because you fear destruction. And this human vessel, for all its trickery, is but one ship against our armada." Commander Katri stepped forward, her patience wearing thin. "A demonstration, then. Lieutenant Patel, activate the quantum mirror array." "Aye, Commander." Deploying QMA. From beneath the Defiance's hull, a series of sleek satellites deployed, arranging themselves in a precise geometric pattern around the ship. As they activated, the impossible happened. Where there had been one human warship, suddenly there appeared to be hundreds, each an exact duplicate of the Defiance, surrounding the Kralvox fleet in a perfect sphere. "Quantum entanglement projection," Dr. Okafor explained, seeing the stunned expressions of the Kralvox on the view screen. "Not holograms, Warlord, but fully realized quantum duplicates sharing the same consciousness and capabilities as the original. Each projection is as real as the primary vessel, at least until we decide they're not." It was a bluff, of course. The projections couldn't actually fire weapons or sustain damage. But the Kralvox had no way of knowing that. The quantum mirror array was designed primarily for scientific observation across multiple probability states, but Ketri had realized its potential as a psychological weapon the moment she'd seen the specifications. "Impossible," Grekthar whispered, compound eyes darting frantically between the hundreds of identical warships now surrounding his fleet. "No civilization possesses such technology." "Humanity does." Chatri repeated her earlier statement, allowing herself a small smile. "Now, shall we discuss your withdrawal, or would you prefer another demonstration?" Before the Warlord could respond, alarms blared across the Defiance's bridge. "Commander," Chen called out, "we're detecting massive energy buildup in the Kralvox flagship. They're overloading their antimatter core." Dr. Okafor's fingers flew across her console. "Confirmed. If that core detonates, it'll take out half this solar system, including the planet we're trying to protect. It seems your warlord would rather destroy everything than admit defeat, Prime Minister Ilarven observed sadly. Our sensors confirm your readings. We cannot evacuate in time. Ketri's mind raced. The Defiance's shields might protect the ship itself, but not an entire planet. They needed a solution, and quickly. Dr. Okafor, she snapped, the experimental chrono-displacement field. Is it operational? The scientist's eyes widened. Technically, yes, but it's never been tested at full scale. The power requirements alone ruled. Route all power except life support and minimal shields. Can we generate a field large enough to encompass their flagship? Okafor calculated rapidly. Yes, but we'd need to be within 1,000 kilometers of their vessel. And Commander, if this works, I can't predict where or when that ship will end up. Better lost in time than taking billions of innocent lives with it. Chatri decided. Helm, take us in. Maximum stealth approach. The Defiance accelerated toward the Kralvox flagship, its quantum projections vanishing as all power was diverted to the experimental drive. On the view screen, they could see the alien vessel beginning to glow with unnatural energy as its antimatter containment systems failed. 800 kilometers in closing, the helm officer reported. Their core detonation in 40 seconds. Chrono displacement field generators at full capacity, Dr. Okafor announced. Ready on your command. Chatri took a deep breath. Activate the field. A shimmering bubble of distorted space-time erupted from the Defiance, expanding rapidly to engulf the Kralvox flagship. For a moment, it seemed as if nothing had happened. Then reality itself seemed to hiccup. The massive alien vessel appeared to stretch, elongate, and then fold in upon itself before vanishing completely, leaving only empty space where moments before a dreadnought had been preparing to detonate. Field collapse successful, Okafor reported, her voice shaking slightly. The Kralvox flagship has been chronologically displaced, based on the energy readings, approximately 65 million years into the past, somewhere in the vicinity of what humans would eventually call the Chicxulub crater on Earth. A stunned silence fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. One of Earth's greatest historical mysteries potentially solved by a desperate gamble to save an alien civilization. The remaining Kralvox fleet, witnessing the impossible disappearance of their flagship and warlord, broke formation. Several ships immediately jumped to FTL, fleeing the system, while others simply powered down their weapons in a clear sign of surrender. Open a channel to the remaining Kralvox vessels, Chatri ordered. A nervous-looking Kralvox sub-commander appeared on screen. The human vessel addresses us. Your warlord is gone, and half your fleet has fled, Chatri stated flatly. You have two options. Surrender and face justice for your attempted genocide, or depart this system immediately, never to return. Either way, the Neo-Terran people are now under humanity's protection. The sub-commander's mandibles clicked rapidly in what the translation software identified as a gesture of submission. We will depart. The Imperium will hear of this encounter. Excellent, Chatri replied. Make sure they hear every detail, especially the part about what happens to those who threaten the innocent when humanity is watching. As the remaining Kralvox vessels retreated from the system, the bridge crew of the Defiance finally allowed themselves to relax slightly. Lieutenant Commander Chen approached his commanding officer. So about that first contact protocol, he began with a wry smile. Chatri shrugged. Sometimes the protocol finds you. XO. Besides, I'd say it worked out rather well for our first official galactic introduction. On the view screen, Prime Minister Ilarven's expression was one of profound gratitude. Commander Chatri, the people of Neo-Terra owe you a debt we can never fully repay. You risked your vessel and your lives for a species you had never even met. It's what we'd hope others would do for us. Chatri replied simply. If you're willing, Prime Minister, I think our peoples have much to learn from each other. Ilarven nodded. Indeed, though I must ask, your vessel, your technology. It seems so advanced, almost beyond comprehension. How did humanity achieve such marvels? Khatri smiled. The same way your people will, given time and peace to develop. Through curiosity, determination, and the understanding that true strength lies not in conquest, but in creation. The defiance may seem impossible by conventional standards, but that's because humans have never been very good at accepting limitations. As diplomatic channels were established, and the Defiance settled into orbit around Neoterra to begin formal first contact procedures, Commander Khatri found a quiet moment to send a message back to Earth. Her report was concise but carried implications that would forever change humanity's place in the cosmos. First contact established with Neo-Terran civilization. Hostile third-party intervention neutralized. Diplomatic relations proceeding smoothly. The HMS Defiance has performed beyond all expectations, confirming that humanity is ready for its place among the stars. Most importantly, we have made our first allies, not through intimidation or displays of power, but by standing up for those who could not stand for themselves. This, I believe, is how humanity will be defined by the galaxy, not by the advanced nature of our warships, but by the principles for which we are willing to deploy them. As the message was transmitted through the quantum-entangled communications array, instantly bridging the vast distance to Earth without any possibility of interception, Khatri gazed out at the stars visible through the observation viewport. The Defiance had been built in secret, incorporating technologies that most believed were still decades or even centuries away from practical application. Its very existence had been questioned by some as an impossible dream. But here, at the edge of explored space, that impossible dream had just saved billions of lives and introduced humanity to the galactic community not as conquerors or victims, but as protectors. Commander, Lieutenant Reyes called from her station. We're receiving requests from 7 other systems within range. Word of our intervention has spread faster than we anticipated. It seems the Kralvoks have been busy, and others are now seeking our help. Khatri nodded, unsurprised. News traveled quickly, even among the stars. Send acknowledgments and inform Earth. It seems the Defiance has more work to do. As humanity took its first steps into a larger universe, it did so not with trepidation but with confidence. Armed with technology that shouldn't exist yet, guided by principles as old as civilization itself, and ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos might present. The HMS Defiance had proven that humanity belonged among the stars not because of their advanced warship, but because of what they chose to do with it. And that, perhaps, was the greatest achievement of all.